Do you see cultural cleansing in New Orleans? If yes, how does that work?
Do I see cultural cleansing? Yes. One very specific way. I mean, besides what people have seen in the news in terms of the broader question of, like, what is the racial balance in the city. One way that I see it happening is a number of about a year ago, I would say, there in the Seventh Ward there was a band that started up. Because oftentimes they'll, like, a brass band will come out, they'll start playing, and people start dancing to the street, and it's no big deal. It's just like what happens here, and but the cops were called, and the cops came to come and break it up, and they were telling people that you had to now have a permit to have a parade. And we're just kind of like, well, not we, I was not there, but it's like, that's not how it's supposed to go here. That's not what we do. So I see that as a form of cultural cleansing, trying to make what is cultural practice into now something that you have to get permission for. So that's good. Has justice played a role in the way events or programs are organized in your community? If so, how? And are you involved in them?
Yes, justice has played a big role in my community because the community I live in is like real impoverished. Poverty is like filled in my community, and our school district, our superintendent of our school district, she raised up enough money for my community to get like another part of my school built on, like an arts part, because last year we didn't have arts like fashion and photography and stuff like that. We didn't have that. So she made up some money and built a whole performing arts school like downtown. And I am involved in it because 2 months from now we're putting on a recital to raise money for the regular school and get arts put in our regular school. So yeah, justice, yeah.
Okay.
If I say art, what do you say? If I say aesthetics, what do you say?
What do I say? I don't know, it's kind of a funny question. It's like, I guess it's whatever is the first thing that pops into your mind. Well, so the first thing that's popping into my mind is the fact that I was just dipping in on the last workshop, and I would come in and out, and I saw people using their own stories to create art pieces that were making commentary on our society, but it's based on their very experiences. So that's the first thing that comes to my mind. And then aesthetics were, well, RSC had everybody moving into talking about aesthetics and asking people, what is it that you see and what is it that does for you? So, how do you identify as a community member, an artist, or an academic, or some combination of them? Can you explain?
I identify myself as an artist and as an activist. An artist because art is like my outlet for when I'm going through stuff and everything. And I know I can always depend on art to, keep me in a safe place. So being an activist is the same thing as standing up for what I think is right, and not only what I think is right, but for what other people believe in also. Do you have any comments about the approach organizers take in your community to create events?
Well, it's kind of funny. Since we have Mardi Gras as a long-standing tradition here, it is some of the main groups that put it on are these social clubs, where there's like a type of membership, and they're the ones who kind of organize their parade, and there's a lot of interesting questions that can be asked about, like, who's in these organizations and how they came to be. And I mean, one of the organizations, Comus, was a group that stopped parading once it was stated that they could no longer be racially isolated. And so they just said, well, you know what, we're not going to have a parade anymore. So But Mardi Gras is also a very interesting thing because while there are these big social organizations that have their parades and have their balls and whatnot, there's like, it's everybody pouring out into the streets to make it happen. And so that's kind of exciting as well. Are you interested in dialogue? What kind? What about? If you're interested in dialogue, what should people be talking about? Or what kind of conversations do you want to be in?
I like to be in conversations about helping my community, helping out people that's living in poverty communities. When I got here, I seen like houses that were boarded up with, it had like certain numbers on it and everything. And I seen people mowing their lawns and stuff, but they still had boards on their houses and like all this debris and stuff around their house and stuff. So that's the kind of dialogue I want to be in, like helping other people out.
It's kind of amazing that 3.5 years later, people are still living that way. So, this woman who I just met, who was from Egypt, she came down here just to kind of experience New Orleans, and she said she went on one of these hurricane destruction tours, and the tour guy was saying, yeah, this is all, if you come here 10 years later, it's going to be just like this. You know, the person claimed that the city is making too much money off of people coming down to take these tours. So some of these neighborhoods are going to be just the same. It's like, great, good luck with this community. So.